Sticking with Spain for a second, some reports that apparently Real Madrid are losing a little bit of faith or belief in Arlian Tchouameni. So I wanted to just raise his name again with you because obviously when Jurgen was here, there was a lot of talk that if he had have shown an indication of willingness to come to Liverpool, maybe Liverpool would have pursued that deal. But it became apparent very quickly that his dream was a move to Real Madrid, and of course that happened. If he was to be available, do you think he would still be the right type of profile for Arne Slot's midfield?
That's a really interesting one. Possibly not, because I had a conversation with the source over the summer who said about the fact that the defensive midfielder, the profile had really changed since the last couple of summers, which obviously was a nod to kind of Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia. More than Tchouameni maybe, but there had been a kind of shift in what Liverpool were looking for. And I guess you've only got to look at Zubimendi and compare him to Tchouameni in terms of what they do as midfielders, and they do profile slightly differently. Tchouameni's no slouch on the ball whatsoever, but maybe not a tempo setter or that metronome that Liverpool are maybe looking for. So if you'd have asked me 12 months ago, I would have said Liverpool will be all over this, because they absolutely loved Tchouameni, the recruitment staff, and they were big on him. But the need has changed slightly, and I just wonder whether Liverpool will even be in the mix this time around, and they're looking for something very, very different at the base of the midfield. It's an interesting test case in terms of how much things have changed actually in what they're looking for in the slot. But the early signs, I would say, is to go from Zubimendi and then go to Tchouameni. That doesn't feel right to me, and I'm not 100% sure, as I would have been 12 months ago, that Liverpool will be in the mix if he does leave this summer.
Are there any names that are coming up other than the Zubimendi links that you think we could be worth keeping an eye on? For example, Koku's name came up again recently, and feels like that's a bit of a lazy one because he worked with Arne Slot, obviously Feyenoord before he went to Benfica. Are there any other names that you're hearing are being looked at, considered, or maybe just coming available that you think would be a good fit?
Being honest, no. And I always say as well, I'm not. I've watched a bit of Tchouameni. Obviously, he's in a really prominent team in the Champions League, so I know a little bit about him. But I'm absolutely no scout who's out there with a really clear idea of who else would be like that. But I think it's kind of, you'll get a feel, when a name comes up, if it's someone who's similar to Zubimendi, could still be him. By the way, that's really interesting that's still rumbling on with no new deal, and even Liverpool might decide to wait till the end of the season, by the way. I still think, someone who's kind of like that, someone who's in that McAllister mould as well, they're quite similar players. So, yeah, I couldn't tell you a name for who that is at the moment, but I'm sure there's plenty of time for those to pop up.